Welcome, travelers, to my podcast, Hitchhiker's Guide to Ethical Non-Monogamy. I am your host, Ike, and I will be your guide through the journey that is E&M. What's going on, y'all? Once again, my name is Ike, and I am the host of this here podcast, and welcome to the first episode. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while now, but the mix of ADHD plus procrastination plus nerves plus ADHD, you add it all up and you just push it off until you really just don't want to do it. But I'm glad I'm finally doing this, and to you that's listening, I'm happy to have you here. The point of this podcast really is to just kind of go through the various aspects, experiences, and whatnot in regards to ethical non-monogamy. It's also known as consensual non-monogamy. The main reason why consensual and ethical are thrown in front is because this is a minority type of deal here. And if you went up to an average Joe in the middle of nowhere and brought up anything regarding non-monogamy, the first thoughts that come to mind is cheating. But the thing is, when you're non-monogamous, you can also still cheat and get cheated on. So by simply throwing ethical and consensual in front is kind of our way of letting the world know there are some boundaries involved with this. And honestly, what I personally feel like is kind of mixed up in the world is we kind of forget that all relationships are just about boundaries and respecting those boundaries. It's kind of weird when someone that's monogamous looks at someone that's polyamorous or monogamish or some kind of something that is not taught in the church. They look at them weird as if, what's wrong with y'all? And then on the other side, you'll get the non-monogamous people looking at monogamous people saying, oh, that's not natural. But the thing is, we're all humans. Everything we do or create is natural because we come up with the concepts in our mind. We make money. We know money's not natural. Are we saying that money's not natural, therefore I won't use it? Hell no. Money was used to pay for this equipment. Money is used to keep a roof over my head. Money is why there's some people that's homeless right now. So just because it's not natural, quote unquote, doesn't mean all of a sudden it's a wrong thing. So I'm not over here creating this podcast to advocate for one or the other. What I do advocate, though, is that you find your boundaries, you find what you are comfortable with, find you a partner, if you want a partner, that's within your boundaries, so that way you can live a fruitful life together. Because my one thing personally is, I don't believe a relationship should be something of struggle, strife, and pain. Like, why would you sign up for something that hurts you? That makes no sense. All it does is build trauma, and that trauma can be passed on to others around you, whether you intend to or not. So that's kind of what led to this beginning, honestly. But yeah, I wanted to go ahead and drop what I figured for the inaugural episode. I mean, is inaugural right? Because I know it's what we normally use for anniversaries, but well, I guess for my first ever episode, I want to go ahead and drop a song that I feel like, well, I want to call my road trip jam. Like, if you're on the road, I mean, we don't pick up hitchhikers no more because we don't trust nobody, but, you know, you got to put someone on the radio, something to jam off to. And for this first episode titled Open for Business, let's just go ahead and do free, I want to go ahead and make the song Free Your Mind by En Vogue. Am I gonna play it? Hell no, I ain't got the money yet. Like, let me come up in the world. Maybe this will be something so I can actually play the music. But no, Free Your Mind by En Vogue is essentially, the lyrics are purely saying, don't read a book by its cover. Open your mind into something more than what you think you perceive. And that's kind of, I think it fits for this first episode, which I am calling Open for Business, because I kind of want to look at the overall concept that people use of, quote unquote, opening up the relationship. But I guess before I go into that, I should probably talk about myself a little bit, because I'm just a guy on the mic, and I feel like I should open myself up, because I myself am a non-monogamous relationship kind of person. And so, you know, my name is Ike. I live in Austin, Texas. study at UT, Hook'em Horns. I did have to drop out because, hey, I had ADHD. I did not know it until 5 years later. But I am going back to school. Haha, let's get this math degree. Um, Fast forward, I kind of stumbled upon non-monogamy during a purposeful time period when I intentionally stayed single because I had a couple go at relationships, but I couldn't understand like what's the end game. What is it? What is that I want out of it? Because I was just doing it because it's what you're supposed to do. And I've been a nigga that's always questioning everything since I was young. I got on my parents' nerves about that. I would ask them, why is the sky blue? And then I would ask them, why is blue blue? So that's the annoying ass nigga that I was growing up. And I'm still that annoying ass nigga now, which is why I am sharing the knowledge I got with y'all. Um, but no, during my time of intentionally being single, there was I'm glad I marked this for mature. So I was invited to a sex party. And yeah, it is as described. There's a group of people, they get a hotel room, and some shenanigans ensue. Um, and I've been to several of them during that time of intentional single. Now, trust, the first 2 years, I ain't gonna no sex parties, aka play parties, or anything like that. I was just minding my business, just living my life. And because I was, again, intentionally single for 5 years because I didn't want to get into a new relationship without knowing what was my purpose. Like, what was the point of getting into a relationship just for the sake of getting into a relationship? That's not the kind of person I am. So we go ahead and fast forward, and there was one party where I asked this couple because they were swingers, how did y'all get to this point? Why did y'all do what y'all did? And the way they described their dynamic, it kind of struck a chord with me. Because one thing I am not a fan of is feeling restricted. Now, understand there's a difference from respecting a boundary and feeling restricted. Feeling restricted to me, it just seems like there are these options that I am being told I cannot explore. Respecting the boundary is more about respecting how someone is telling you to love them. Like, I don't remember who said that quote, but my boundaries are a way for you to love me. Well, nah, I'm messing it up. Hold up. It was my boundaries are the way you can love me and I can protect my well-being. I don't remember who said that, but it did kind of struck a like that makes a lot of sense. Because boundaries are not about restricting someone. It's more about protecting yourself because without those boundaries, you might cause harm to others or yourself. So, again, I was just not here for feeling restricted the way monogamous relationships were set up. Now, mind you, I'm not perfect. I cheated once in my life. It was like I didn't have sex with the person, but I still count as cheating. Like, I was committed to someone, dating someone while in college, but there was someone that I liked that was going through a stressful time, and I'm stupid. She was vulnerable, but I didn't realize she was vulnerable. But it was a stressful time. I went to go help her move and all these other things. And like when we were done, we looked at each other and we made out a bit. And I knew I fucked up, and I literally ran out. Like, I ran because I felt bad. It's like, yo, I'm dating someone. We could have dated, but you were messing around and not really being about it, and it's like fuck. So yeah, I then ended up ending it with the person I was with because that wasn't fair to her. Like, I pretty much cheated. Like, that's not cool. If I am willing to kiss this other woman, I have no reason being in a relationship with you. So I kind of have to break things off, and because that's just who I am. I don't like wasting other people's time. I don't like my time being wasted. I like to just go ahead. Then again, ADHD. I be impulsive sometimes, but I felt like that was for the better. But when that couple at the party was describing their dynamic and how non-monogamy is a legitimate option, that it isn't like a wrong thing, or like, if anything, they're like saying it like it is harder to be in that dynamic because there's a lot more work involved. And it was something that I just wanted to explore. I did some readings. I read books like The Ethical Slut. I like looked online at different blogs and whatnot. And so that kind of started my journey where I didn't know what kind of non-monogamous I was, but I knew that this was the route for me. And yeah, this is where I am now. I currently identify my outlook of my ethical non-monogamy. It is relationship anarchy. The laziest way for me to describe it is like customizable relationships with each partner. That's like literally the bare bones. Like, this is the laziest definition I can give you. I will have an episode in the future that goes into more detail, but yeah, that's where I am now. I do have an anchor partner. That term really means like it's essentially like a primary, like the de facto partner. Like, if anyone is to think of who is my partner, she's the first person to come into most people's mind. I also do have a local play partner. Been at it for like about a month or two now, but yeah, I do BDSM and kinky stuff, so rope, impact, whatnot. So she essentially is my play partner at this moment. Will it like customize into something more? That's to be determined. I do have another person within this city that I date. She herself is uncertain about monogamy or non-monogamy. As it stands right now, she would prefer to get into a monogamous relationship, but as she is single right now and is kind of like, just if you're single and you find someone cool and you like hanging out with them, that's kind of where we're falling right now, because I do enjoy hanging out with her. We do extracurricular adult activities, sex. And yeah, so that's where I have, at least here locally. I do have other, I would essentially their comments, kind of like Haley's Comet comes once every 76 years. So think about that when someone say they have a comment. So a comment is normally someone that you sparsely keep in touch, and you normally run into them maybe once a blue moon. And normally at that time when you run into them, there's either a romantic or physical connections that happen in that moment, and then you'll go your separate ways until the next time you meet again. So I do have that around the country, namely in New York and in DC. It's not permanent because things change. They may get into a relationship that requires more attention. They may just be tired of it. They might go monogamous. Things can end. Things can change. There's a reason for every season, and treat every person like a season. Like, everyone's not meant to be what it is forever. Things will always change. So that's how I see it, and that's kind of where I am right now. And I do believe in marriage. I do believe, I do believe marriage, be it the government side of things or the romantic side of things. It's not like I'm over here saying I'll never be married. Like, that is an option. Will I marry multiple people? The way I see it, no. I only see myself with just marrying one individual. Do I see myself get into a commune? I don't know. That's like Future Ike's problem. But that's essentially about me. Um, yeah, I don't really normally talk about myself, so this is gonna be a fun podcast. But no, if anything, let's go ahead and like just get into the overall topic for today's episode: opening up a relationship. So the thing is, normally you'll see it in TV. You might have heard a friend or two talk about it, but what does it really mean to open up the relationship? From what I've noticed, the term opening up a relationship normally comes from people that have been in monogamous dynamics, be it for a significant time period. This you can see this from like high school sweethearts. You can see that high school and college sweethearts. You normally see that happen with them. You normally see like married couples that's been together for a while. Even in some like just overall relationships that's just dating for like a year or boyfriend girlfriend for like a year or so. There's a variety of relationships, monogamous relationships that go the opening route. But yeah, there's just so many various reasons as to one would open up a relationship. And to be honest, more times than not is sex. Now, like one of the biggest things, especially when discussing non-monogamy, is the one go-to thing that happens to the masses is their first thought is sex. It's always, oh, you want to fuck more people. Oh, you want to have threesomes all the time. Like that's normally the de facto go-to, which honestly in the non-monogamous society is kind of like an annoying like it's an annoying thorn in the side because yes, we're consenting adults. Sex is a part of life. But to make a non-monogamous relationship nothing but sex, it kind of belittles the overall connections that are made. But when in terms of opening up a relationship, more times than not, it is either sex or they're lacking certain aspects of the relationship they would want to find somewhere else. Now this could be either emotional connection. This could be I don't believe that one person is to be another person's everything because it's kind of hard to reciprocate that on the other end. Like you can't be someone's everything and someone else can't not be your everything. I do that's the reason why we have friends. We have different people for different stuff. You have your gym friend, you have your sports friend, you have your mimosa friend, you have your brunch friend. Like, yes, some people can get lucky and find multiple facets of what they need in one person, but everything, that's kind of a bit much. So typically, the opening of the relationship, it kind of falls into that realm of something is lacking. And I want to find a way to discover what that is and to see if that can be fulfilled. Opening a relationship can be messy. That is just a fact of life because no one ever just thinks of how to approach it, how to talk about it. And if anything, more times than not, it's been festering in their mind for a lot longer than what you think when they bring it up to your attention. Be it man, woman, they, them, or other. Like, imagine how hard it is to tell your partner that you want to see if there's more out there. Like their first reaction will, you can't blame it. Their first reaction is really, oh wait, am I not enough? Like it's gonna be a whole lot of defensive retreat because it's almost as if you're telling them that it's almost like a breakup. That's what it kind of feels like. If someone comes up to you, you're not enough. The first thought is always going to be panic because, love is a crazy thing. And if they see someone they love is over here trying to just part ways or trying to expand their horizons, it's a threat. Like it feels threatening. And it's kind of understandable why someone might not be as open to the concept of opening a relationship. And also there's a lot of things involved, a lot of nuances, like be it emotionally between the two of you, your time management, if you have kids, it's a lot that goes into it. Some people give it considerable thought. Other people, they kind of just blurt it out and rush in because they think it might be cool. It's really messy because life is messy. Things like as time goes on, things change, and when things change, it gets uncomfortable. So, if anything, we already talked about what it meant. We already talked about what it could look like. Now, I want to go ahead and at least go into like what might be a successful or a unsuccessful version. I mean, so one might be asking what would a successful version look like? And honestly, it depends on your partner. Like, if you and your partner have great communication skills, you're open with each other and honest, it'll be a lot easier to successfully open up your relationship through that means versus a relationship that is essentially toxic. The reason why I say this is because you have to know your partner in order to know how to approach them. You can't just blindside someone with something like this out of the blue, because that's when it gets defensive. If anything, I believe in more cases it would actually be beneficial if it was kind of like a slow burn. Like, you don't want to spring this on them out of the blue. You want to go ahead and just essentially give them just like a little bit of nuggets here and there, so at least their mind is a bit open when you kind of get to the end result, like the end game. Like, you don't want to just immediately say, I want to go see other people. I love you and I want to be with you, but I also want to go see other people. That you got, like, that's like hitting someone with a brick in the face. How they're gonna respond to that? But if you go ahead and gauge your partner, see how they see the concept of non-monogamy, or how they see the concept of, just seeing other people, but not in. But you want to make sure you're secure in your relationship. That's like the number one thing, because if you spring it on them and there's some insecurity in their relationship, the automatic thought is, oh, it's over, it's ending. So you want to make sure, whoever is on the side that wants to open it, that you give your partner a chance to adjust and learn. There are plenty of resources out there that can actually help and show that, hey, it could be fun. It could actually be something that you're also interested in. Go ahead and take a look at this aspect. Go ahead and take a look at that aspect. Here's some communication methods. Like, it helps ease the partner's mind into what it can be. Because if they don't get educated, they're only going to have their imaginations and their friends telling them all these crazy things that may or may not be. I would say some unsuccessful versions, though, like I said, if you spring it on them, it could lead to something bad. Alright, so now as far as an unsuccessful version, I've already discussed a bit of it where it's kind of sprung on them out of the blue. That would normally lead into failure. Or if you bust out in the blue and they're all of a sudden like, hell yeah, I'm with it, then it might hurt you in turn because you didn't expect that kind of response. So now as far as the failing side, I really see it coming down to just a lack of communication and a lack of compatibility. Everyone's not meant for everybody. That is a fact of life. And there's also the fact that there are some people out there living in very toxic situations that they don't get out of for one reason or another. Like, you can easily try to, from the outside looking in, be like, oh, you should leave, oh, you should walk away. This isn't a relationship right for you. But we will never know what's going on internally. We have no idea what's happening there. So toxicity could be the lead to a failed attempt to open a relationship. Lack of communication, because if a guy comes in, it's like, oh, I want to open a relationship, but I don't want you seeing other men, you can only see other women. One penis policy is a no-go in my book. It's a no-go because it's not up to the woman. The woman has to be the one to say that, nope, I just want your dick. I'll just date other women. But when a man institutes that policy, it's a no-go for me, especially if it's a financially abusive individual that's like, oh, nope, I'm shutting down your cards. Oh, nope, no gas for you. It's not a good feel, it's not a good look, it's not a good time. But when it really comes down to opening a relationship, it's really about matching both desires. Because like I said from the beginning, it really comes down to boundaries. Individual one has their boundaries, individual two have their boundaries. Now, do their boundaries mesh? That's the whole thing. Like in this instance, when it comes to opening a relationship, you have one person who's saying their boundaries involves having the freedom to interact with other parties romantically, sexually, or platonically, whatever, without certain restrictions. Person B will either have to either match that or be open to it. No one's saying that person B has to also go out and do whatever. There are plenty of dynamics that has one individual that's non-monogamous and the other one that's monogamous. Those do exist. It's just a matter of communication and setting those boundaries and respecting those boundaries. So as long as they mesh, that is what normally would lead to a successful opening of the relationship. If they don't mesh, honestly, just break up. I do not understand outside of financial reasons. Oh, actually, no. Dating's hard out here. There's some trash people in the world. So, okay, never mind. Let me clean that up a little bit. Okay. I can understand why people don't break up. Okay, I'll say that. I can understand why people don't break up, The dating pool has a lot of pee in it, and no one's there to clean it up with chlorine. But I am a proponent of, just break up. No, another human should not be causing you so much stress and grief. Like, we have this one life to live, and shout out to those that believe in heaven. Because, look, there's like a billions of people up there. You think you're going to go ahead and look for that guy that you don't like because he went up to heaven too? No, you're going to go find Prince or someone and be like, oh, I'm going to go hang with him. See what I'm saying? Like, I am a proponent of finding your own happiness, not at your expense. Like, there's one thing to you're doing it for the kids. It's another thing where you're just doing it for this guy's emotions. Like, fuck the feels. You have to do what's best for you. And if you want to be a non-monogamous person and this person does not want to be or nor wants you to be it, that means you're not compatible. Just walk away and try to find a way to live your life, because we only got one of them and no one wants to get to the end of the road with regret. That's just how I see it. Like, for me, I was fortunate. I didn't need to get to a point of asking to open the relationship because, like I said, I was intentionally single. Like, this wasn't a whole, oh man, I'm going to go ahead and date around and blah, blah, blah. No, I didn't do no dating. I didn't do no dating apps. I was like, I'm just going to live my life, go about my business. Did I have sex during that time? Well, yes, like I said. Well, I didn't get to the sex part until year 3, but the first 2 years, I do hit the bars, 6th Street or whatever. Like, yes, I'm a tall guy. I look solid. Now, am I like fine? I'm alright, your boy got some looks. But, when you're 6'3", you kind of get away with a lot. But, but no, overall, I was intentionally single. And by the time I was ready to date again, I knew I wanted to be non-monogamous. And so on all sites, I made sure I put, correction. On OkCupid, I made sure I selected non-monogamous, and that was the only site I set it on. I will go into more detail on the do's and don'ts when it comes to dating, which will be next episode, because I did have a folly in my first go around. Luckily, there's someone up there looking out for your boy, because the second go around has been a success, and I'm loving it. But don't worry, we'll go into the dating while non-monogamous in the next episode, because again, there's a lot of pee in that dating pool, and it's like, boy, like, when you tell women who are bisexual, oh, you got all the options, nah, they don't, because you understand, I am friends with these people, and I see what they have to deal with, and you be like, ooh, thank God I ain't you. But no, overall, it's really all about knowing what it is that you're trying to get to, what you're trying to see, what it is that you want to experience. Because life is about a whole lot of experiences. A lot of us have these 5 senses. Some of us are lacking them. But we have all these things that we can use to explore what it is to be human, what it is to be alive. Why will we limit ourselves when we don't want to? Now, I can understand if you want to stay in this lane because you are more than happy and comfortable. Yes, do it. I would never tell you get out of this happiness that you're in to go explore something, because you might be happier, you might be sadder. Why would I tell you to ruin your happiness? No, live your best monogamous life. But on the other side of things, if you want to explore, if you want to go ahead and see what is more out there, then go do it. Like, The reason why we go out and rush to get that damn Popeye's chicken sandwich is because we wanted to experience what the hell is the hype. To which the hype was solid. The hype was hitting. But then again, if the hype wasn't hitting, guess what? We have the experience. We got to see what it was. And we got to have our own personal opinions about it. So that's why I would always be a proponent. If you want to open up a relationship, be tactful and be mindful of your partner. And just go slow with it. Give some explanations. Provide some books. Just let them know it's not about not love. It's not that you don't love them unless you don't. If you don't, break up. Like, if you're using an open relationship to make up for a failed relationship, no, you're playing yourself. But if you want to open up your relationship because it's something that intrigues you, just bring your partner along slowly so they can understand what it is about. You don't want to have you don't want to have your partner in a situation where they're questioning whether you love them or not. That will just go ahead and still end up breaking you up. And I'm positive that is not what you want if you sincerely just want to be non-monogamous versus breaking up and being with someone else. Because yes, there are some people out here that simply want to open up a relationship because they want to fuck other people. Could it be because they are trying to politely get sexual gratification from others because they're not getting it from you? It is highly possible. I mean, there are some people out here that have had only one penis and one pussy their entire life because that's what they were told to do. And then they hear all the hype from media, from friends, from just on the internet. You get curious, you get wondering, you kind of want to go ahead and explore a little bit more. And yeah, that happens. And ironically, the couple that I met were high school sweethearts. And they were together by themselves, having sex only for the first 15 years of marriage. And guess who started swinging? I'm just saying. And apparently it was her idea. But no, it really does come down to finding your desire, finding a tactful way to express that desire, and just moving forward with it. That's really what it comes down to. Because no one wants to be miserable. Like, no one wants to feel bad in this life because it's not a good feeling. So, if you decide to go ahead and open up your relationship for business, make sure you have that insurance, make sure you keep strong communication, and make sure you do your research. You want to make sure you are well informed. I get it, a lot of people want to live off the seat of their pants, but, read the instruction manual. Make sure that you know what you're walking into, and that's just the best I can say for that. But no, I do appreciate y'all listening to me for this first episode. If you couldn't tell, I was nervous as fuck. But as it was going, I started feeling a little bit more comfortable. So I'm so glad I was actually able to go ahead and do this. I will be going ahead and drop episodes weekly. I do not have a drop date yet, but I'm paying Sprout $12 an hour. I mean, not an hour, Jesus Christ. I'm paying them $12 a month. So we're going to go ahead and try to make this a regular weekly thing so I can get this content out to you. If you have any questions or concerns or comments, be sure to go ahead and hit me up at Hitchhiker's Guide to Ethical Non-Monogamy. Is it ENM or Ethical Non-Monogamy? I'll be tripping. I'm going to make sure I put it in the show notes. See, again, first episode. Yeah, we're going to tighten this up. We're going to get this figured out. Bam, but yes. Just go ahead and email me at hitchhikersguide to enm@gmail.com. Any questions, any suggestions, just go ahead and hit me up. I'll be happy to go ahead and read whatever you send me. All right, but yeah, you can go ahead and find me on Instagram at Hitchhiker's Guide to ENM. You can also find me on Twitter, Hitchhiking to ENM, 1H, not 2. So that's going to be HITCHIKING to ENM. That'll be me on Twitter. But yeah, I do appreciate you once again, and until the next time. All right, travel safely.
Yeah.